Welcome to Stargate SG-1 for the first time. Still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken and I am watching Stargate SG-1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen and I'm watching Stargate SG-1 for the 47th time. It's been a lot, Jeff. It's been a lot, but I am going to be watching the show for the first time through a new lens. We'll talk about that later. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters who some time ago joined forces to bring you Babylon 5 for the first time. And we've had so much fun doing that we decided to do it again with a show that many of you out there have said that you wanted us to do it with.
So whether this is your first time or your 47th time through the gate, we invite you to come along on this journey with us as we give what I'm told is a pretty great show, Stargate SG-1, the for the first time treatment. But Brent, there is no way that doing SG-FT-FT can work like we did B5-FT-FT. So you, my friend, are the guide. Help me and the listeners out. Tell us how we're going to be doing Stargate SG-1 for the first time.
Each episode is going to open very similar to how we've just been doing it, the way we do our Babylon 5 show. And then right here, Jeff, live in the show, in the podcast, you and I are going to actually watch that episode together every week.
Whoa. All right.
Then instead of waiting a few days and watching the episode again and taking some notes and scheduling a whole nother thing and coming back together, we're actually going to do the podcast part of the episode immediately following watching the show. So it's podcast and reaction video all mixed in together.
We're going to be in a little while talking about a two-parter, but for our standard episodes, we're probably going to be shooting for the neighborhood of an hour for the entire episode.
I think that's certainly the goal. Now, except for the folks at Patreon, because the folks at Patreon, as always, they get the full video.
All right. Well, with that, once again, whether it's your first time through the gate or your 47th, let's start this journey. As you just heard, this is my first time watching this. I'm going to be experiencing this as it unfolds. I've never watched a single episode of Stargate SG-1. So I'm going to be bringing all of you along with me to relive your first viewing experience.
And like I said, for me, since this is, still not a Star Trek podcast, we are still going to be looking for what we call those Star Trek-like messages. Jeff, maybe we would be better served to call them the sci-fi messages.
I like that. Yeah.
And we'll talk about those where they pop up through the show. Those messages that hold up a mirror to society, ones that give us hope that things could be better in the future, or honestly just tell us how to be better human beings to each other.
And this part's going to sound familiar to a lot of you because, once again, this is not a Star Trek podcast, but we are bringing over from the Babylon 5 show the Rule of 3. This is a game where we only get 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. One of those plays. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
And if we make one of those references, you're going to hear one of everyone's favorite sounds.
However, we can't forget Babylon 5, Jeff.
Sure can't.
Because this is also not a Babylon 5 podcast, but we are adding something new to the Rule of 3. You see, anytime we make a Babylon 5 reference, because I'm sure those are going to happen quite a bit, Jeff, you're going to hear this.
Oh, yes.
However, those references are unlimited.
All right, Brent, I can't wait anymore. I think we've set the table. I think people know how the show is going to run. Let's watch this episode.
All right, let's do it. Here are the details for the episode. I'm going to push it. All right, here we go. This is the pilot episode. Season 1, episodes, technically it's episodes 1 and 2, titled Children of the Gods. The original air date for this episode was July 27th, 1997 on Showtime. Jeff, this was a Showtime show.
It's a big deal.
Yes. At least it's going to be a Showtime series for the first 5 seasons. The show will eventually move to another network. We'll talk about it when the time comes. This show, just so you know, Jeff, picks up approximately 1 year after the events of the movie, which came out in 1994, a movie which, by the way, you still have not seen.
Well, I saw it in like 1994.
Okay.
So basically, I've not seen it.
How much do you remember of the movie?
I remember some of the actors, and I remember that like they go through the circle gate and they end up in Egypt, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that movie was originally designed to be a trilogy by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin. However, the studio, MGM, decided they wanted to pivot to a TV show instead, and they would bring in Brad Wright and Jonathan Glaster, names you need to become familiar with, Jeff. They are big in this world. And there was zero input from Roland Emmerich or Dean Devlin from the film, like cut out altogether.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Roland and Dean really, I think, don't like the show at all. And they keep trying to remake the other two with no nods to the show whatsoever and just do whatever they were going to originally try to do. Now, Jeff, you haven't really watched that movie yet, we'll just say, but you eventually will. We're going to get there. The movie was not really intended to this, but it now really effectively acts as the prequel to the show. And I don't have to tell you anything about it because they're going to tell you everything you really need to know from the show in the episode itself. So,
okay.
Now, one thing I do want just to clear up before we do this is everything that happened in the movie is considered actually canon and is what happened prior to this episode starting, unless the show says otherwise.
Okay. Right. It's canon until it's not.
It's canon until they retcon it. Yeah, basically. Which, you know, as Star Trek guys, sure.
That's
what we do.
Yeah.
Also important to know, I just want to point these two people out real quick. The characters of Jack O'Neill and Daniel Jackson, who are from the movie, were recast moving into the show. Playing Colonel O'Neill in the movie was a guy named Kurt Russell. You might have heard of him. He played him very stoic for, well, reasons. And in the show, he is now played none other than by MacGyver Richard Dean Anderson, who noted that he had a very different idea of how to play O'Neill. And you'll notice that Anderson's O'Neill is very different from the Kirk Douglas O'Neill, but they are still considered to be the same character. In the film, Dr. Daniel Jackson was played by James Spader, who was wonderful in the role, and he is now being played by relative newcomer, at least at the time, Michael Shanks. Shanks, I think, actually did a really good job of kind of playing the James Spader version of the character if he had lived off-world for a year. Does that make sense? Like if you take what we knew of James Spader, fast forward him a year, that's what Michael Shanks is. I think he does a really good job of the just sort of the strength he turns into. And then as the character grew, Michael Shanks really makes Daniel Jackson very much his own. So with that, Jeff, that's kind of the intro to this episode. If you're ready, let's jump in to Stargate SG-1 for the first time.
Dude, I'm so ready. I think we need to start this episode, but before we do, if you're listening to the audio on your podcasting app, on Good Pods, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, it's going to skip this whole part. We're just going to dive into the conversation after the episode. So if you want to catch the reaction, go catch us on YouTube and you can actually watch the reaction happen. Otherwise, stand by and you'll be here for the after conversation. Now let's do it.
Jeff, what's your poker game?
A Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Trust me, nobody ever comes down here but us.
So she's like the newbie.
Yeah. Yeah. In case you can't tell, the Stargate program has been mothballed over the year.
Can we take that as a fold?
I have a feeling a lot more than the cards are about to fold. Is that how it's supposed to work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it just turns on, that little whoosh thing happens, and now we're just kind of like...
That's the technical term for that, is the whoosh.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
Stargate whoosh. That's what we call it.
It's a thermal detonator.
I'm pretty sure they picked that up from the prop department at Star Trek.
Probably. Has a cool scene there for a second against the backdrop when she's picking that up. Whoa! Is that the dude from Dreamscape? Dude, it's like a whole army of snake dudes. That's the leader, you can tell because he's gold.
Right.
What? So it's just armor. They've got this faith militant thing from Game of Thrones going on. Whoa! Our bullets have no effect. Shoot more of them. Leader guy's pretty gutsy, leaving his snake head down.
Well, we wouldn't be able to see his face if they put it back up.
Big old blast
Look how
doors.
thick that door is, right?
That's straight from Tron right there.
Right?
Hold your fire.
They straight
Did
up
they
took
take-
her, Jeff. They took
They
her.
took her.
Yeah,
Okay.
they took her. Yeah.
Yeah, so they hand powered her and then took her
Yeah,
back
yeah.
through, and now it's just big old hoop.
Yeah. Jeff?
Well, this is an exciting open to the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
snake dudes, I'm going to guess they're not human. They, human actors, but I don't know if this thing on the forehead is like some sort of a rank thing or whatever, but I think my big question at this point, I mean, God, there's a lot of them, but the big question is why? Why come grab the girl, hand wave her, and take her? Is it that she's a girl? Is it that she's the first one that went forward? We'll find out. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, here we are at the end of the intro.
Oh,
Let's
look
get
at
back
that.
into the show. There's Brad Wright and Jonathan Glassner, like I said.
Those are, okay.
The showrunners for sure. Yeah, yeah.
So this is 1997, coming
Yeah.
in a 1987 station wagon.
Military,
Right.
government cars are fancy, ain't they?
Yeah. Well, if it works, why replace it?
Right. I want a little stargazing observatory on my roof.
It's like a Stargate for his eye. You can see everything.
Air Force? Yes, sir. I'm the General's Executive Officer.
Oh, poor
Little
guy.
piece of advice, Major.
Get a new job.
Re-asked to NASA.
Re-asked.
Reaction's gonna be
Reassigned.
out there.
That's a real thing.
I'm under orders to bring you to see General Hammond, sir. Has to do with the Stargate.
You might have led with that.
Right?
Now I'm listening.
At first, I was blowing you off. Now you have my attention.
First, I'm like, why are you in my treehouse? This is a boys-only club.
Where are we, Jeff?
We're in, I don't even know where we're at, but it's clearly going to be like a 16 miles underground kind of a thing.
They're in an old nuclear missile silo.
No!
So, yeah, they're like level 28 underground.
Yeah. It's got to feel good for him walking in there, not in uniform, just like, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
I like how his hair is kind of
Retired.
Yeah, right.
Me, I'm on my last tour. Time to start getting my thoughts together. Maybe write a book. You ever think of writing a book about your exploits in the line of duty?
It's Lethal Weapon. It's like it's my last day, about to retire.
But then I'd have to shoot anyone that actually read it.
Down to business. I can do that. This way.
We only have 132 minutes for this episode. Let's go.
Anyone you know, Colonel?
They're not human.
Look at that. Did you see that?
Okay.
Best we can tell, these slits are actually a pouch, similar to that found in a marsupial.
He's a Narn.
We haven't done an autopsy yet.
There were no creatures like this on Abydos. Those people were human.
Abydos.
Robbed
That's the name of the planet.
thousands of years ago.
I know.
Okay,
but
from the movie.
Egypt planet? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But your report said this Ra was in fact some kind of alien that lived inside a human body.
Yeah, his eyes glowed. That was our first clue.
Just like Serpentor.
Are you sure he's dead, Colonel?
Unless he could survive a tactical nuclear warhead blown up in his face. I'm positive.
How do you feel about the Stargate mission after all this time, Colonel?
Well, sir,
I wasn't supposed to see that.
Or were you?
Daniel Jackson?
you read the report?
Yes.
It's all there.
Is it?
I would punch that
It's all
guy
about
right in
you.
the face.
You didn't
Yes.
like Daniel Jackson, did you?
Basically, he was a geek, sir.
So you didn't have a lot of time for him.
I didn't say that.
We would get along with him,
You also
Jeff.
saved my life
Right.
on the way home from my men and me.
To the best of your knowledge, Daniel Jackson and everyone else you knew on Abydos is dead, correct?
That's correct.
Good.
Is it?
There's a lot of hesitation there.
Go ahead on our plan.
And the plan is probably going to be to put a cart of thermonuclear warheads through the Stargate.
Oh my God.
You're a good predictor, Jeff.
Sending another bomb?
Mark 5 this time.
General.
Maybe I have some more to tell you.
Countdown's already started. Unless you have something to add.
I like this look on his face.
I know, right?
Like he knows the whole time. He's known the whole time. He's not being fooled.
He might be like General McGeneric, but
Listen.
he's still General.
I regret to inform you that
You're going to love him.
not entirely accurate.
You didn't detonate the bomb.
No, I did
And he's a
detonate the
phenomenal
bomb,
actor.
and it was
He
a
really
Yeah.
is.
spacecraft.
We'll send the bomb through on schedule.
General, you can't do that.
Oh, I can't?
There are innocent people on that planet.
There are innocent people here.
He's got a point.
I have my
They
orders.
both have
Colonel.
points.
I obey mine.
Colonel O'Neill, sir.
Lose the salute.
Yeah, it's a lazy ass salute too. I hate that.
Me and Freddie didn't
Call him out, Jeff.
have kids.
Literally got my butt handed to me for doing salutes like that.
That one kid idolized you.
My kid used to do that when he was little. Scar kind of reminded me of him.
I never even knew you had a son.
Well, he died
That's what we call a touchy subject. You can tell by the music.
just before the Abydos mission.
Yeah. So, Jeff, the thing you don't know is he died because he shot himself with Jack's gun.
How many
Like it was an accident.
you
It was an
Okay.
accident.
Oh.
Jack very much blamed himself.
Does this mean you are reconsidering sending the bomb, sir?
Jackson could be dead. You don't know what you'd be
They
walking.
send a robot probe again?
We'll have the prototype probe
There it is.
from MIT.
Yeah.
General, we don't need that probe. This'll do.
What was that?
It's a box of Kleenexes.
Daniel
What?
sneezes all the time.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you
Okay.
got it. That's it.
Okay.
Here to explain
They're
this
gonna.
concept.
Okay. This was one of my questions. Like, how do they activate the thing?
You'll know this came from me and not from someone like yourself.
I like that his reasoning. He knows me because I'm going to make fun of him. He knows it's going to be for me because I'm making fun of him.
So the chevrons are like runes or codes or something like that,
Yep. Here you go.
and a sequence of 7.
7. The seventh one is always where you are, and then the other 6 tell you where you're going.
It's like a 3-dimensional triangulation.
Pretty much.
He just
yeah.
he just chucked the Kleenex through the thing, right?
All he needs to do. Look at that. Look at the map board.
3. The object should now be through the Abydos Stargate.
So it's not instantaneous. You don't walk out and in. There's like a travel point.
But it's still really fast.
They could be blowing their noses right now.
I was gonna say it's Kleenex, bro.
That was a full box of Kleenex, sir. So
Right.
And if it's not spring over there, then he may be all right.
Yeah. Histamine blockers. I mean, who knows what they've got?
Everything shakes when the Stargate turns on.
It's like probably like
Whoosh.
as it's okay. I almost get the whoosh now because that's almost
Yeah.
like the force of like the connection coming.
Connection, yeah.
The Kleenex.
It's an empty box.
Mission to take a team through
Do you notice all the frost on the
Assuming I get
box?
the president's
Oh,
authorization.
He doesn't
Where's
need one.
Captain Carter?
Just arriving, sir.
Captain Carter.
Carter? I'm assigning Sam Carter to this mission.
I'd prefer
Sam
to put together
Carter.
my own team, sir.
Not on this mission.
Where's he transferring from?
She is transferring from the Pentagon.
Got him. Fun fact, Jeff. I had a dog named after this character.
O'Neill.
Really?
Samantha Carter reporting, sir.
Let's get started. Colonel?
Thank you.
Well, it's 97, right? So women can serve, but that's going to be a rough go.
I'd like to think I've been preparing for this all my life.
I think what the colonel is saying
Or at least for the last
have you ever pulled
year.
out a simulated bombing run in an F-16 at 8+ Gs?
Yes.
She's just like, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it's way worse than that.
By the time you get to the other side, you're frozen stiff.
That's a result of the compression your molecules undergo during the millisecond required for reconstitution.
Oh, here we go. Another
This is great
science
exposition, by the
general,
way.
please.
Technobabble.
Theoretical astrophysicist.
Which means?
Which means she is smarter than you are, Colonel.
Dude, those guys are jerks.
Sir, you and your men might as well accept the fact
Jeff,
that
listen.
I am going through this time.
Well, Doctor, I wouldn't get my hope.
I'm an Air Force officer just like you are, Colonel. And just because my reproductive organs are on the inside instead of the outside, doesn't mean I can't handle whatever you can handle.
You go. Yes. Yes.
Oh, this
It's
has
such a good
nothing
line.
to do with you being a woman. I've just got a little problem with scientists.
Okay,
Colonel,
that's
I
fair.
worked over 100 hours in enemy airspace during the Gulf War. Is that tough enough for you?
You're still a scientist.
Or are we going to have to arm wrestle?
It's not that you're not tough enough. It's just you're a scientist.
Yeah. But in 1,000 hours.
I'll give you exactly 24 hours to either return or send a message through. No Kleenex boxes, please. Otherwise, we'll assume the worst and send a bomb through.
What if he does send a Kleenex box? I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
This time you bring Daniel Jackson back. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, even the general's got a crappy salute.
You can actually see the fluctuations in the event horizon.
Pushes her through.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah,
we're gonna. Cool.
You've never seen this. That's right.
No.
This is why it takes some time to get through to the other side, Jeff.
Right.
You gotta
This
go
is
down
the
little
actual
pipeline.
like. This is the conduit,
Frozen.
and there's that frost, the freeze, because they have to reconstitute the molecules, like Campbell's soup.
In the millisecond it takes to do that.
It's a good thing the gravity and atmosphere are the same.
Well, you know, it has to
Sci-fi
be.
thing.
It has to
Yeah.
be.
It's in a sci-fi show, so it's going to be fine.
Well, no, there's actually a really good in-universe reason for why that works.
Oh, really?
Chahari!
There he is. Didn't realize they left that many guns behind in the first mission.
Welcome back.
He's definitely got the look. Daniel Jackson, like,
Yeah.
little dude's got a better salute than. That's got to be Skara.
Yeah. He is from the movie, and that actually is the same actor as well.
Oh, wow.
Much better.
Yeah.
Now that I see everybody's okay.
Greetings from Earth, Dr. Jackson.
What's your little something,
Kowalski.
Did you just buzz the show?
I did. Share?
That's his wife. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, little fun fact: those two actors right there are actually married in real life.
That always works out really well. You know, kind of like Talia Winters and Garibaldi.
Amazing. This is what was missing from the dig at Giza. This is how they controlled it. It took us 15 years and 3 supercomputers to MacGyver a system for the gate.
Captain?
Did you see his response?
All it is.
Captain.
I'm Dr. Samantha.
So we use Earth, that big
have a
old
computer
computer
program.
thing.
Yep.
They just have like a little sundial
What's going on,
thing.
Jack?
Or
Pretty
whatever.
much.
Little.
6 hostile aliens came through the Stargate on Earth.
Well, they didn't come from here.
Well, they came from somewhere, Dad.
So this man who looked like Ra, he must have come through another gate.
Stargate only goes here.
I think you're wrong about that.
So I figured that there had to be more to this place, so I started exploring. And after about a month, I found this place. Captain Doctor, you're gonna love this.
Captain Doctor.
This is a map of a vast network of Stargates. Stargates that are
So it's like
all over the
3D triangulation based on constellations.
Yep.
And then this, like I said, the 7th one being where
Wherever
you're
you
coming
are.
After
from.
Colonel O'Neill and his team came back, my team tried hundreds of symbol permutations using Earth as the point of origin, and it never worked.
I don't pretend to know anything about astrophysics, but couldn't the planets change?
Right, now with this map as a base, that should be easy. All we have to
Oh,
do
yeah,
is
so
correct the
easy.
Doppler shift. Then I should be able to arrive at a computer model that will predict
Yeah,
the
I feel like them
adjustments
right
necessary
now.
to get the gate working again.
So the Stargate can go other places.
The aliens could have come from anywhere.
That's why we have like 200 episodes in this series.
Hey, that's a good premise for the show. Hey, what if the Stargate didn't just go to this one planet, but went to tons of them out there? Let's make a show.
Let's do that. We're going to do a bunch of math in there too, just because we need to.
Uh-oh.
So it's either the bomb or it's Raw, right?
Well, Raw's dead. Snake dude. What'd you call him?
Raw lookalike.
Boy.
Snake heads.
Snake heads. I like that, Jeff.
We're gonna capture you instead of shooting you because we had to pay you as an actor.
Hey, it's him again.
Instead of... I'm going to hand wave you.
Perfect specimen.
So we got big bad guy Serpentor, and he said Teal'c is like his second
one.
Not the one.
Oh yes.
It took Shade, it took Skara into the Japai.
You're coming with us this time, Daniel. I've got orders.
Peretti might have seen those coordinates.
I gotta tell you, that big device, I could look at 7 glowing symbols. There's no way I'm remembering which specific 7 I saw, especially if I've just been shot.
Well, and doesn't the order matter?
It shouldn't.
Okay.
You're connecting them all.
Now, as soon as we're gone, I want you to close it, bury it, put a big, heavy cover stone over it. Nothing good can ever come through this gate. Do you understand me?
But you came through.
Came through it, Daniel.
High five, Jeff. Good job. There you go.
Do you remember the story I told you? Then in 1 year from this day, you take the cover stone away. I will try to bring Share home with me on that day, but if I don't make it back, if I don't return, then you must bury the gate again forever, Jokwa.
But I feel like we just set up our season ender 1 year from now.
You're a good guesser there, Jeff. He just waltzes in.
I hope this episode ends with him getting punched in the face.
There you go.
Whoa!
What the hell's that, sir?
They put a sphincter door on it?
Insurance, hopefully admitted.
General Hyde, Daniel Jackson, we've never met. I'd like to be on the team that goes after them.
You're not in any position to make demands, Jackson.
I've never understood, Jeff, why he says that so nasty to Daniel Jackson.
Right? He just seems mad.
Like, Daniel didn't do it.
Okay, this is the snake world, maybe.
It's a good bet.
There's a bunch of
Scar's in
fine, bunch of fine specimens in there.
Shall knock her.
I'll shell knock her.
Your death cannot help her.
It's a really uncomfortable costume it's got.
I'm not afraid of you.
Okay, so they're taking Share
Yeah.
somewhere. That's the officer from the Open.
It is. Good eye.
Yep. That's Teal'c.
Yes. That is his name. I'm glad you picked up on that, Jeff, because he's only said it like once or twice. Like
the captions helped.
I'm a sergeant in the U.S. Air Force.
I like how she says that like it's gonna stop.
Right. Oh, the U.S. Air Force, you say? Oh, my bad.
I like that they left her dog tags on and all that. It looks like the throne room on Centauri Prime.
Full of life.
So he hand waved her on Earth. So I wonder if that's just like
Queen.
vessel for my future queen. Oh, because they said earlier that like the raw. Okay.
I'm just gonna let you put it together, Jeff.
Yeah. So they said something about like some being taking over human bodies. That was raw. They blew up in the thermonuclear thing.
Yeah.
But everybody's saying this is raw. So like they're basically like parasites, symbionts.
Yes.
Those don't count against our count. This is the reaction time. I said.
Sci-fi has symbiotes all over the place.
True.
It's not. That is not Star Trek unique, Jeff. Take that buzzer back.
Yeah, this is the part you freak out, lady.
Right?
What the?
I think it still has all the goop.
Does she please you, my love?
And it's not like they're marsupial. Okay, so there's this. Are they basically Trill? Like with this little like.
Nope.
No.
Different.
So little queen thing didn't approve, so he just killed her.
Did you see the look that Teal'c gave?
Yeah.
He was not happy with that.
Classified
All
as
right, here we go.
SCI top secret. This thing is both vast and dangerous.
With respect, sir, we think of how much we could learn. Think of what we could bring back.
What you could bring back
Part
is
of the galactic
precisely what
stage
I'm
now.
afraid of, Captain. However, the President of the United States happens to agree with you. He has ordered the formation of 9 teams whose duties will be to perform reconnaissance, determine threats, and if possible, to make peaceful contact with the peoples of these worlds. Colonel O'Neill?
Sir.
Your team will be designated SG-1. Yourself,
Oh!
Carter,
And me.
I love this. I never understood what the SG-1 was like. Stargate 1? Is that Earth? You know, is kind of what I...
Yep. Team 1. It's the flagship
Love
team.
this.
And the team currently consists of Jack, Sam, and Daniel.
And they probably bring in people as they need or whatever.
Way
and-
ahead of you, Colonel.
SG-1 and SG-2, you do not return in 24 hours. Your remote transmitter codes will be locked out, and the iris will be sealed permanently. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
There's a lot around those transmitters. That's important stuff. It's a good thing he tucked.
Right?
Plonk. Belly flop.
Oh, look. It looks like Northwestern Canada.
It's
There's actually a moment in a couple episodes where they address why everything looks like Northwestern Canada.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a wink wink nudge nudge kind of funny.
This one has spirit.
So Jeff, remember I told you this was a Showtime show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening here. They actually went full frontal nudity in this part for Showtime. It never happens again. Showtime forced them to do it to earn their Showtime cred.
Like, we're Showtime. We gotta do this.
But as soon as they could, they went out and they actually edited it back out of the show.
Tell me more about Share. How did you meet?
Share, well,
Oh.
she
was a gift.
She was, actually, from the elders of Abydos the first night we were there. Oh.
Dink dink. Dink 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 dink.
Dink? Ding, 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 ding.
Dink 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 dink.
No, please don't do that. Irish.
There's Inte tarfi inglesi. Inglesi.
Yeah, Allah,
Yeah.
One of the few times in the entire show, Jeff, where
Chulak, eh?
the world they go to just doesn't speak English. Like Stargate doesn't even pretend that there's other languages that, Star Trek addresses the question with the universal translator and stuff.
Yeah.
Stargate's just like, they're not even
gonna try. And if they do try, they're like, oh, it's this language that I also speak. So
Yeah.
there you
Nope.
go.
They're not even, it just is.
Sounds good.
I got to tell you, for the folks who've watched this before, they never come back to this in Chulak after this episode, to this thing right here. And Chulak, they do something entirely different with it as the show goes on. I really wonder what the original idea of Chulak was, like from the show writers. I have no idea, but I really wonder what their concept was for what this was supposed to be. See, they have the tattoos too.
Yeah.
Some of them are gold, some of them are not. Your snakehead friends there, Jeff.
Right. Roly-poly snakeheads.
Roly-poly.
It's a Bill Mummy song. Fish heads, actually.
Behold,
Oh, yeah, here it is. Big reveal.
your queen.
Don't do anything stupid, Daniel.
Excuse me?
He's doing something stupid.
Seems to be his jam.
See your eyes glow?
Yeah, and his hand wave gets a lot stronger.
Whoa, easy. You've been unconscious for hours.
No, I saw her.
I know, we all
Nice.
Welcome back to the land of the conscious.
O'Neill told me about Shari.
They seal the gate in just over 90 minutes.
Oh, there we go.
Let's find a way out of here.
Ramp those stakes up.
What is this? This is not Goa'uld technology.
What?
Where are you from?
Goa'uld.
Go out.
Earth.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Excuse me.
Oh, watch this, Jeff.
This is where we're from.
Okay.
That is the symbol on the Stargate that represents Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
You just heard.
He's like the hand of Apophis.
He is.
What do you say?
Like it's so!
Oh, maybe not.
Help me! Many have said that. But you are the first I believe could do it.
I say, but I believe you.
These highly trained warriors have the aim of stormtroopers.
Right.
Jeez, Jack, at least wait for him to actually get out of the way.
I thought they should have shot a hole in the wall a little sooner.
I like how they've nicely smoothed all those rock edges so nobody cuts themselves on the way out of that hole.
Well, it's like it's like a lightsaber thing, instantly cauterized. You know, just.
What you doing, Tilk?
He's going for. He's gonna go for Apophis.
I have nowhere to go.
For this, you can stay at my place. Let's go.
I got a couch, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyone who does not exist to serve the gods is their enemy.
And that makes you...
I am a Jafar, bred to serve that they may live.
I don't understand.
Look, Jeff.
So he's got a guy in him.
What the hell is that?
It is an infant Goa'uld, the larval form of the gods.
Get it out of there.
In exchange for carrying the infant Goa'uld until maturity, Jafar receives perfect health and long life. If I were to remove it, I would eventually die.
Few rules of symbiotes stay the same across all sci-fi shows.
Right, it's pretty, yeah.
Once you're linked, you can never become unlinked. They give you really good health in exchange for whatever you give them.
So the little alien thing is that Goa'uld?
It's a baby Goa'uld. Yeah.
Okay.
So did you hear what he called himself?
Jaffa, and like they gestate the Goa'uld, the baby Goa'uld.
Incubate, maybe you'd say. Here you go, Jeff. Look at this.
I feel like I remember that from the movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like The Shadows.
Oh yeah, it does. Good call.
Colonel, we don't have much time before they lock us out.
So Daniel's got a guy and Jack's both got it. They both have a guy that's out there.
It's not just about saving Earth. This is personal.
Sure.
In the meantime, they're taking forever to walk through the Stargate.
Scar was literally like 2 steps away from the gate.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like... They all have the slaver glove that dude in Born to the Purple. I'm just making Babylon 5 references like crazy here. Like,
yep.
But yeah, we'll just walk through,
I believe I made that Stargate reference when we watched Born to the Purple.
You might have. That was a long time ago.
Jeff, you'd be shocked going back through our Babylon 5 show how many Stargate references I make. I'm actually shocked I just don't make more. But.
See this else?
The restraint you show is Herculean. And those are all the refugees. So like those are snakeheads they didn't want to put actual snakeheads on.
Go for headshots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Guys, put your weapons down.
Guns are a lot more effective when they don't have snakeheads on. Whoa, big old hole blasted in dude.
Yeah. Jeff, look.
Was that Kowalski? That little pause, that's going to come up at some point.
Hear that?
That's them.
You need to go clean the backside of the iris right now, guys.
Colonel, this is a lot more people than I thought you were coming back with.
Colonel O'Neill, what's he doing here?
General Hammond, this is Teal'c.
You know what he is?
Yes, sir, I do. He's the man who saved our lives. And if you accept my recommendation, sir, you'll join SG-1.
All right, the team's together, Jeff.
This is basically
That's
how every
the team right
pilot ever ends.
Yeah.
Well, what are we going to do?
Go do what we were supposed to do.
Yep.
There you go, Jeff. Before you speak anything, I need to have a moment.
All right.
to everybody out there. You know, over the last 3 seasons, doing the reaction videos for the Brent watches, you guys know that I often am taking notes and things like that because of how the show works. And I've received untold number of comments from you guys when you get mad at me when I'm looking down taking a note at just the wrong time. Oh my gosh, Jeff. I want to apologize to every single one of you out there who I have ever snapped back at about that, because dang, that's annoying. All right, Jeff, you've just watched your first episode of Stargate SG1. Talk to us about it, my friend. What about it?
I love that I kind of came into this completely blind. It's been 30 years since I saw the movie, you know, and so this was a real first introduction to Stargate for me. And I think that I know so little about this series that I feel like it's really similar to us watching Babylon 5, where we were able to avoid spoilers. I've avoided spoilers for so long, but I can tell you, watching this, there's a whole massive world already built. It's not like I'm leaving this episode without questions. Like, I definitely have questions around it, but I feel totally grounded in what's going on.
Yeah.
There are countless worlds out there. We don't know what they are. And the main through line of the story right now is we have these Goa'uld.
Or
that's weird.
Sometimes people just call them Gould. You'll hear it that way as well.
That's easier to say. I like that. So we have these Goulds, and there's kind of a hierarchy in there where we have these gods, like they even called them gods, and then the children of the gods, and then garbage after that.
And then you have the Jaffa, who are the incubators. They're the incubators and the warrior caste, so to speak.
And they have all got the little Goulds in them. We saw that with Teal'c. We saw that with the guy with Kowalski coming up. And so now Kowalski has a little golden, but we're going after
the servants have the little thing on their foreheads.
Yeah, so then like they got the black ones and they got the gold ones, and I couldn't tell if they was like different designs or the same. But
that is one of those things that they'll fix it pretty quickly in the course of the show. But in this show, they clearly did not actually know what those things were.
Okay.
So,
but no, I think like all in all, I think that did an excellent job of hand holding the new viewer through everything. And that's where I noted in our reaction piece, quite a bit of the dialogue has been, especially with Captain Carter, has really been like gender roles and her being treated a certain way. God, Freddie and Kowalski were just, I mean, like that was horrible.
Right.
Way over the top. But like, I think that's definitely a theme that I'm anticipating coming through this. I had questions that came up through it, but a lot of them they answered. Like because I noticed that before the Stargate opens, it, kind of spins around and it gets the code plugged in. And like one of my questions was, can you use that to find your way to where these came from? And yes, I mean, I think there's a clear storyline on this. It's going to be funny. It's action packed. I loved, and in like this tiny space, we got the Vulcan salute, and we got a MacGyver reference. It's
right.
They're literally just like, we know what's up, like right out of the gate. I thought this was really cool. You did point out one thing you wanted me to remember. And it was when O'Neill says, "For crying out loud."
Yes.
So I wrote that down.
Yes. We like our games here for the first time.
We do.
Right?
We love them.
We love our games. So here's going to be a little game we play.
Okay.
All right. What we're going to do is we're going to pull certain things that tend to come up again and again and again throughout the course of the show. One of Jack's catchphrases is "for crying out loud." So we're going to keep track of all the "for crying out loud." So we here I counted one "for crying out loud" in today's episode. There's one for Daniel. There's one for Teal'c. I don't know that I have one for Sam.
Yeah.
Anytime she talks and makes Jack's eyes glaze over, but that would literally be 4 times an episode.
Right. I think between her and Daniel, anytime a scientist talks to him, he's just like, I don't care. What are you doing? And I totally get that. Cool. That'll be a fun game. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
That's it for my first watch. I've seen it. It's in the books. You watched this for the first time, looking to see if this has any of those really good, strong sci-fi messages in this one. So what'd you find?
I said earlier that a lot of times it's just gonna be like, yeah, there really wasn't one in here. It was just a great episode. This was a great episode. This is a show Jeff, that is not necessarily trying to be preachy. There will be those episodes where they do it.
Okay.
This episode was this was all about establishing the lore, establishing the characters, getting the team together, telling you what SG-1 is, setting up the premise for the show, you know, and then there'll be the through line of Jack looking for Skara and Daniel looking for Sha're and Teal'c and whatever's going to happen with him. And then there's Sam just being the nerd trying to figure stuff out. You got gate technician guy who's like Chevron 1.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a guy. Like I've seen that actor.
Have you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of one of those, I'm going to be that guy.
He might wind up being your favorite character by the end of the show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
The prediction right there.
That's literally like what he does in the show. Anyway, I did pull something out that I thought was real interesting as I was watching this for the first time with this filter on. And this is less mirror to society, and this isn't so much hope for a better future, but it is kind of the like, here's how we can be better people to each other.
Yeah.
Trust your team. Communicate with the people around you. And it was a theme that we saw throughout the course of the episode again and again and again. In the beginning, when we had two characters come on who didn't trust each other, they weren't talking to each other, and things didn't work out really well for them. Stuff wasn't getting done. When things began to get done was when we started trusting each other. Yeah. Take, for example, Jack and General Hammond. When those two first meet, they are very much at odds with each other. They're not communicating. They're not telling each other the truth. Even Hammond, like, remember when he steps on and he's pulling one over on Jack and he's just smiling knowing Jack's about ready to break down because he's all fake. Now, fast forward to the moment where they walk into the conference room. He's like, this is SCI classified. Here's what the president has done. We're going to do this. And Jack, you're going to lead SG-1. And you know what's happening? Now it's getting done. Because for some reason, somehow they've developed a rapport and they can actually make things happen. You look at Jack and Sam when that whole opening scene, even kind of a little bit throughout, there's just this, Jack has no time for Sam whatsoever
at all.
But when he actually does give her a chance, she can do some stuff. She can get some stuff done. And you know what? She's done every single thing that those guys have done out there. She's there not just because she's super smart, but because she has fully earned her place on that team. I absolutely love that. I think Sam and Daniel juxtaposed what happened with them versus everyone else. When Sam and Daniel met, there was an immediate rapport, an immediate communication, an immediate, like, I'm listening to you. I'm hearing what you got to say. I knew I would like you.
Yeah.
Within 3.4 seconds, they figured out the entire map room of what was going to happen and how they're going to set up the rest of the show. Right. I think the final one is Teal'c and Jack. Once they looked at each other and said, help me, I can save these people. When they started working together, when they started trusting each other, look what happened. Look at all the people they saved. They got away from Apophis and all those guys. Things happened. So, you know, the best thing I think I really get out of here is people learning to trust each other, talk to each other, communicate to each other. That's how stuff happens.
Yeah, total sci-fi message. I think that and along with the loyalty that comes from that. You know, we saw that with Ferretti, we saw that with Kowalski. And, you know, I mean, Kowalski was willing to stay on that planet forever if it meant being there for Jack.
Yeah.
You know, and that speaks to that trust that you were talking about. So I think, yeah, this was a great fun episode with a lot of action, a lot of table setting, but it had a great sci-fi message too.
Yeah. Jeff, this would be a great episode. I would love to hear you break down on the Starfleet Leadership Academy.
There's a ton of really good stuff for Starfleet Leadership Academy in this. But this episode right here, Brent, would not be a For the First Time podcast if we didn't do what we love doing, where we rate and rank the episode. So I get to rank it. I'm going to do that. That's a classic, our definitive, our 100% objectively correct, immutable ranking. That's what I'm going to do. But you get to rate this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 chevrons. And I know what that means now, but 0 to 5 chevrons as to how strong those messages you just talked about, how strong they are in this episode.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna rate this rate this on 0 to 5 chevrons, I think a big piece that really goes with the messages is the intentionality of the writer. You know, like, is it just something that came up or is it something you really intended? I think what I pulled out is just something that came up. I don't know that that's really what they were aiming at all. So I'm gonna leave this one at 1 chevron.
Really?
Like, it was there. It was in a through, but it was real low. It was in no way, shape, or form the focus or the point of the episode. You know, and I don't want to say I had to look super deep because it did feel like it was there throughout, but you're establishing relationships. People who just meet don't automatically trust each other a lot of times. I don't know, Jeff, when you and I first met, I trusted you pretty well.
There's a base level of trust, but also like we didn't have people jumping through a whoosh Stargate coming to kill us and our friends and family. So
very true. Well, Jeff, so I rank with chevrons. You get to rate the episode, and we'll leave it there. Now, this one might be kind of tough for you.
Yeah,
but you get to place this ranking, Jeff. Where are you ranking our pilot episode, Children of the Gods?
I'm gonna, really think hard on this one. I could really split hairs and split this into 2 episodes and say which one, of the 2-parter I like. But I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Whole thing was great. This is gonna be our number 1 episode of season 1 so far.
All right, Jeff. Well, that's actually going to be it for Children of the Gods. That's the show right there. Now, next week, we are watching an episode titled The Enemy Within. Jeff, do you care to venture a guess as to what that episode could be? We've not talked about doing predictions, so I'll give you can say no and we'll just move on. Or would you like to give it a shot?
Well, I got to, yes, I want to give it a shot. And I have to acknowledge that you kicked this whole thing off, and I know Stargate SG-1 is not built as this serialized show, but what I do know from what you've shared is characters do have impacts and changes episode to episode. So the enemy within has got to be about. This is going to be about Kowalski. It's going to be the gold. I'm going to
Gould or Goa'uld.
It's going to take me some the Gould inside of him and. Whatever that that looks like. So this is going to be a Kowalski centered episode.
All right. Well, we will see next week right here on Stargate SG-1 for the first time. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. Please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating and a review. Please share the podcast with somebody that loves Stargate, or maybe is about to fall in love with this incredible series for the very first time, like our good friend Jeff over there. So until next time.
Hey, Brent.
Yeah, Jeff, what's up?
General McGeneric.
Oh, for crying out loud. I don't know.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
There's only one little flub in that whole thing, and it was right at the end when you're like,
right?
Yeah, nice job.
That's a pretty good clean run, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. That's it, man.
Yeah.
The episode's over. We're done. Like,
we're done.
The podcast people, like, they're not hearing this part. Like, this is.
No.
You know what this is?
This is
Jeff?
fun.
You know what this is? Club 65.
We're in Club 65.
Right here. Club 65. Welcome to Club 65. If you guys are new here, Club 65 is the after show that we have here. Membership is only for those who stick around past the credits. And
we have very strict rules, though, around Club 65.
Very few, but they are very strict. And those rules are?
You don't tell anybody what Club 65 is.
No.
You don't mention Club 65 outside of Club 65.
Mm-hmm.
And drop a 65 in the comments.
There you go. Exactly.
If you know, you know.
If you have to ask what Club 65 is, then you're not part of the club.
Yeah, it's that simple. You are a special person for being here.
Yep.
Don't give that away.
There you go. Yeah. Jeff, I'll give you a chance. Anything you didn't say in your recap that jumped out to you? Or like, let me ask you this. What was your favorite part of the episode? Like for you? Or like what surprised you? What stood out to you?
I think that my big surprise was the Teal'c thing. I really thought that he was going to either, like at first I thought he was going to be like the guy who does all the dirty work, sort of a thing. Like he would be the bad guy that we faced to get to the bad guy. And then as he was going, I was thinking, oh no, he's the guy who's getting left behind and he's going to go kill Apophis and try and get this. I was pretty shocked when he turned over, which we said it at the same time. We're just like, oh, there's the DVD cover with him. He probably is on the DVD cover.
Yes. Yes. The SG1 team is those four. Like it's the Colonel, the nerdy anthropologist dude who knows all the languages, the nerdy science chick who is just awesome in everything she does, and then the muscle, the quiet muscle who doesn't talk a whole lot.
Yeah, right.
Which is actually really funny because apparently Chris Judge, the guy who plays Teal'c, talks nonstop and has Tourette's. Like in real life, like he has Tourette's, talks nonstop, but as an actor, he plays this very stoic, not many words come out of his mouth. Pay attention to the words that do come out of his mouth, Jeff, because they're usually pretty funny.
Right. Yeah.
You know
they're
what I
going to be, worth noting.
There's a lot of humor in this show. Like definitely roll with it, you know?
Well, I think it was one of my favorite parts, literally, was just like flashing the live long and prosper and then immediately following it up with the MacGyver reference. Cause it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know who this is.
I think I've described this show to you this way before. Like this show knows what it is. It's fully aware. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it does take itself seriously at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get that.
And there are places where they just full on make fun of themselves. They make fun of their genre. And yeah, they go through that. So anyway, hey Jeff, why don't we get out of here? This is great, man. You know what feels so good? That we've started.
I know we did it.
You know what I mean? Like we've started. And this is just the beginning of a series that runs twice as long.
Right.
As Babylon 5.
And
that's not including the spinoffs.
Yeah, we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. I mean, like, this is the fun part of what we do, right? Yeah. There's work that happens after this where we get it packaged up and ready and put it out and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to that because, like, this was a blast to do. I really enjoyed this. I just hope that, like, it translates well in the final, you know what I mean? Like in the final product.
The format that we've chosen to do the reaction mixed with the podcast and all that. So I hope that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. And we'll catch you guys next week for The Enemy Within.
It's a Rush song.
There you go.